Hi, my name is Dean Chivers. I'm a director at Deloitte in the Deloitte Legal Division.
I'm Terry Kelly from Deloitte. I'm the leader of the Security and Privacy Services within the Risk Advisory at Deloitte, South Africa.
The Protection of Personal Information Bill is a law which will be passed shortly to regulate the manner in which entities may use people's information going forward.
The purpose of the bill is to fundamentally protect a human right, which is a person's privacy and their right to choice. And as long as we don't have any mechanism or regulatory control over what people can do with individuals' information, that right cannot be protected. So this bill enables that right to be protected.
The ITWeb Deloitte PPIB survey that was conducted shows that 53% of organizations have not come to terms with what they would need to do to become compliant. I guess there are potentially a number of reasons for that. I would think that one of the main reasons would be that there is a bit of a tendency in the South African environment to leave compliance till later in the game, and with this law still being a bill, perhaps that's what's driving a bit of a delay. In addition, I think that we do need to accept that this piece of legislation introduces a brand new concept to South African law, and compliance with this bill will not be easy. So I do think that it is taking some time for companies to adjust and to start to understand the impact on the day-to-day business that it will have.
Organizations won't be able to comply with the bill the day it comes in or the day it's enacted. This is a process that has to be well planned and well orchestrated within an organization.
To pick up on what Terry's saying, the bill does allow for a one-year compliance period, but it's our view that that's probably insufficient for the bulk of organizations. So compliance is not something that will happen overnight. 59% of organizations have revealed that they have not appointed a privacy officer at this point. Appointing a privacy officer is a new requirement under the law, and as such, historically nobody's had one. So clearly appointing and training a privacy officer and having him perform his functions is all part of compliance, and is thus part of the bigger problem as to why companies have not yet started on any of the compliance aspects of the law. The Deloitte ITWeb PPIB survey revealed that some 39% of companies haven't understood how this bill will align with other pieces of legislation already in effect. Interestingly, because this does deal with data, it's probably natural that it does coincide with other pieces of legislation. By way of example, the Consumer Protection Act currently regulates direct marketing, requiring that companies allow recipients to opt out of direct marketing. The PPIB also regulates direct marketing and will in fact introduce a higher standard in this regard.
In the survey, 56% of organizations said that the information did not flow cross-border. They have no idea where the actual information sits, they don't know where it's stored, they know that they outsource to a company, but where that company sends the information, they have no idea. So they might not be intentionally sending information cross-border, but they might be unintentionally allowing the information to cross borders.
If we take a couple of examples, such as cloud computing or a multinational group, it probably happens without people specifically understanding it happens. Typically what will happen in a multinational group is that there will be a continual flow of data between the various entities within the group, and that by its very nature will involve cross-border flows of data. And the fact that that's happening between entities within the same group doesn't relieve each specific entity of complying with the data privacy laws in general, and specifically the cross-border data flow rules.
Although companies may not realize that they are putting information up into the cloud, there is a lot of information moving up into the cloud, and a lot of people are accessing information from the cloud.
People refer to cloud computing without a clear knowledge of what it is. And cloud computing really is just accessing a server somewhere, and it will be somewhere in the world, and it's often outside of South Africa. So any use of cloud computing services usually involves a cross-border flow of data, and thus triggers the data privacy rules in that regard. I think it's important to understand that the PPIB regulates a lot of areas of data flows in an organization, cross-border being just one. And why we say it's so difficult to comply is that often the practical implications of what's being legislated here aren't understood.
What it is going to do for South African business is it's going to bring us in line with global privacy compliance acts throughout the world. And this will enable South African businesses to effectively do business with other organizations internationally without having to worry about cross-border flow of information, because we will have a privacy bill enacted in the country.